morning after the NHS sleeping, and I thought I'd give you a little bit of a review of my tent, which is an MSR Hubba NX 2-person tent, and just show you what my sleeping arrangements were. So the Hubba is a 2-person tent. It's really quite simple to put up. You have these grommets that your tent poles and everything goes through. Your fly sheet, your ground sheet all attaches through these grommets. They're all colour coordinated, so you don't get your fly sheet the wrong way round, because you have to match up your doors with your doors inside. It's a really great tent, and I'll show you in reverse how it goes together. So the Hubba has 3 components to it. You have a fly sheet on top, you have your inner tent, and you have your tent poles. That's it, 3 parts, or 4 if you decide to have a ground sheet like I have underneath, but I'll show you that later. So like I said, yep, so you've got all your different grommets, 4 corners of the tent that your poles go into. You have your tent poles, pegs that you can anchor down your tent. You've got your long guy ropes as well, so you've got 4 of those. I managed to get 3 in. I couldn't do this end because there was nowhere to put it into. It's a bit hard when you've got concrete slabs. You've got these rain gullies on the outside of your rain cover, so if it does rain, all the water runs down these gullies and goes there, so no water should congregate by your doors and your entrances. So this is a vestibule, zips open, and you've got space under here to put any bags or shoes or anything like that. And then inside you've got another door that will open, and then you've got the inside of the tent. So this was my setup last night. I didn't get much sleep, to be honest. It was very cold last night. But inside your tent you've got another door that side and another vestibule, so you can choose which side is your entrance and have the other zipped up and have it as a storage area if you wanted. At each end you've got these pockets that you can stuff, I don't know, books, maps, some clothing in. You've got 1 each end. And on the roof of the tent you've got these little loops. You've got them all dotted about, and the one there that you can hang stuff from. So I had my little tent light, just a cheapy thing that I got from Decathlon. I had my little Larry torch as well, earplugs and an eye mask. So yeah, that's the inside of the tent for you. Okay, so let's talk about the doors on the tent. So you can have your outside rain sheet. You can have the door open and it just rolls up, and you can hook it together like that. You can have it open even more, so you would just pull out the tent peg down there and roll it even further, and there's another hook there to do it. The inside door also rolls up, and again that hooks through like that. So if you wanted, you can have the outside door all the way open and still have this zipped up, and you'd be able to see outside but without any flies or midges getting in. at each end of the tent. You do it from the outside. There's actually a vent there which props open, but this is still covered, so if it's quite a warm night you can have the vents each end open and not worry about anything getting in the tent because you've got this mesh material here. Sleeping arrangements. So I didn't sleep very well. It was very cold and I do feel the cold. So bearing in mind I was on concrete, it wasn't very comfy. I used my Armrest Neo Air X Lite, which you inflate by blowing into a valve there, and you just turn this valve to deflate it as well. Wasn't very comfy, but I was cold and I was on a concrete floor, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. Same with my sleeping bag. This is a Robin's 3-season sleeping bag. It has, to give it its full title, it's a Serac 300. It's a 3-season sleeping bag. Again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because it was cold and I'm a cold person anyway. It's a 600 fill down sleeping bag. Every time I turned over, it was like cold air that had got trapped inside just came up and I was cold. So in the end, I got my other half to bring out a fleecy blanket and a spare duvet. I was still cold though. So 5:30 in the morning, I needed a wee and I got into bed. So, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. It was a very cold night. Right, so I'll show you now how to disassemble the tent and show you what the structure of the tent is like. Okay, so now I've taken the rain cover off. You can see the skeleton of the inner tent. Now you can choose to just have your tent set up like this. If it's a dry, warm evening, you don't have to have the rain cover on. But as you can see, the pole system is just one connected pole and they just pull apart. I'll show you that in a second. But the inner tent clips onto these poles, these clips here, and they're all around and they just literally click on, which makes it really secure. And like I said, everything is attached through these grommets down here. And so the rain cover is colour coordinated. So you have red and grey on the rain sheet, and you have red and grey on the inner tent. So you line those up and that just makes sure that you've got your outer door lined up with your inner door, because if you had it the other way round they would open opposite ways. So that is the skeleton of the tent, and underneath I've got a fly sheet which you have to buy separate, currently retailing at £35, which is quite expensive for a fly sheet, but it's specifically for a Hubba and a Hubba, so it fits underneath nicely. And that is just attached with these loops here, and you can peg it down with the tent pegs. So as you can see, I've unclipped the tent from the poles. I've just left a couple attached because it is a bit breezy. So what you do is you would put your fly sheet down first, peg it out with these loops, and then lay your inner tent over the top and just literally lift the hooks up and clip them to the pole. And it's as simple as that. And then you would put your rain cover over the top, make sure it's matched up, and peg that down as well. It really is simple to put up. My only criticism is if it is a bit windy, it's a bit hard to do. You need to weigh down the ground sheet with some stones or something. But yeah, really easy to put up. This is the pole system all folded up. So it just literally, they've got elasticated ends and they just pull and click in together and then pull and just fold them back, and it folds down like that. Really light, so it's all one system there. Goes in its own little bag. This is the fun bit to do when it's breezy. So what you've got to do is lie the two sheets over each other and then fold them down to fit into there. I've managed to fold up the tent and it all goes in this stuff bag, poles and pegs as well. You probably can fold it up better than that, but it was breezy, and my only criticism is it is hard to do with one person when there is a slight breeze because it's so light. That's the only criticism. But it all goes in this stuff bag, which will then fit in your rucksack. The total weight of this is 1.54 kilograms, so quite light, pretty light. So that's all in there. So I'm just going to fold up my ground sheet now, and this does fold up into its own little bag, which is attached somewhere. There we go. So it folds up into this bag. Kit folded up that I used last night. So there's my footprint in its little bag. There's my thermarest, tent, sleeping bag. So yeah, job done. So it was my first time trying out my tent properly, sleeping in it. Wasn't the place I was hoping to go camping, but the back garden will do. But yeah, so next time I'll show you how to put it up. Do it the right way round rather than reverse. There you go. Final note, it all fits nicely into my Robins sleeping bag, storage bag. There you go, all fits nicely in there to go back in the cupboard. Thanks for watching, see ya.